Hello and welcome back to the LFC transfer room for another player analysis. This time we have Juventus's Federico Chiesa. Joining us today from the Bianconeri Zone is Julian Giannetti, who's going to be giving us the breakdown on Chiesa and what he can offer to Liverpool. So let's get right into the video. For anybody who doesn't know Federico Chiesa, could you give us a bit of a quick breakdown on his game, his play style, his strengths and his weaknesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So Federico Chiesa, he's the gift that keeps on giving for Italian football. He's dynamic, he's quick, he's powerful, pacey. He likes to go to goal. He's very direct. He likes to pick the ball up from any area of the pitch and just go as well. His link-up play isn't the greatest, and it has been. And we know since he's had the ACL injury last January, he's come back and he's struggled a bit, but his power and his pace is still there. Like, he's still fast as ever, and he's still powerful. It's just it hasn't really clicked at Juventus since he's come back, and that's due to coaching and not necessarily due to him. So, but again, as a Juventus fan personally, I think there's nothing wrong with his actual attributes, like from what he was before injury to now.
You know, Juve have had a bit of a difficult time on and off the pitch this season.
Oh yeah.
How has that affected Chiesa? I know you mentioned obviously he's come back from a pretty serious ACL injury. It's kind of everything that's going on with Allegri, the club, and his injury. Is that all kind of had an effect on Chiesa's game?
Basically, the G&A, the output, it's not there. It hasn't been there since Allegri's taken over at Juventus under Pirlo. Chiesa he scored in the double digits for goals, and then obviously he went on to have that amazing Euro Cup back in 2021. And then ever since Allegri took over, even before the off-field allegations started and happened, but even before that, he was struggling to get into the type of game Allegri wanted to play. I'm going to say, like, I have so many thoughts on Allegri, but Chiesa never really hasn't meshed with the style, I'll say, Allegri wants to play at Juventus. That's why you see the G&A, the output, it's not really there. But if you watch the performances and you watch what Chiesa is trying to do under a more attacking, like for Klopp, he would be perfect for Klopp because you guys like the counterattack, you guys like the press. He's all about power and pace. I think he would be perfect for Liverpool. Off the field stuff did have some things to do with Chiesa as well, because now we hear that Chiesa has some off the field stuff with Allegri. They don't, obviously, it's been pretty much verbally known that they don't get along, and neither does Vlahovic and Allegri. Everyone knows who Vlahovic is. So the two main attacking pieces on this Juventus team are butting heads with the coach. I wouldn't take anything they put in terms of goal output on them. I would put it strictly how the coach wants to coach.
Yeah, obviously you've mentioned the thing with Allegri there. Been following a little bit of Juve news this past week. Obviously, he's been linked with a job to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Italian sources are saying that he's staying and they're planning the season ahead. And also today, it got revealed, I think, by Tutto Sports or somebody, that Chiesa and Vlahovic, Allegri was letting them go. What has happened there? Could you give some context to somebody who doesn't watch Juventus? Because it seems a bit crazy that two players, especially like Chiesa, a Euro winner, was such a big part of Italy winning the Euros. What's happened there? Because there's clearly talent with Chiesa, and luckily you've got him, but there was a lot of interest from when he was playing from Fiorentina. But if you could just give us a quick breakdown on what's actually happening.
So okay. I will have to take you back back when Pirlo got fired. So 2 years ago, or 2 seasons ago at least, Pirlo was the head coach of Juventus. They finished 4th, and they won the Coppa Italia, and they won the Super Cup. So that's your Community Shield. So during Pirlo's season, first and only season, he's the one who wanted Federico Chiesa. He's the one who said, "Yeah, let's get this guy, bring him in, and we'll see what we got in him." Younger type profile, prospect, Italian, dynamic. So the first half part of the season, during Pirlo's season, it was shaky. It was rough to start. But again, new coach, not really a training camp due to COVID. He came for big money, 40 plus 10 was the fee. So it took a while for him to gel. But once he started gelling and he was allowed to prosper in the attacking third with Ronaldo, with Kulusevski, with Morata, I'm going to say Morata and Dybala. It was actually nice to watch at some parts, and he clicked, and he was the main guy. Like with Ronaldo in the team, Chiesa was the main guy who was making stuff happen in Europe in the knockout stages. Yes, we lost, but Chiesa was not at fault. He scored big goals against Donnarumma and Milan. He scored big goals against Porto, and he scored a Coppa Italia final goal against Atalanta. So under Pirlo, life was actually good, and that's why he was in top form going into the Euro Cup. Played the Euro Cup, like you said, did well, scored a couple goals in Spain and Austria, and he did very well against England in the final. I think that's what piqued everybody's interest, to be honest. Fast forward, Pirlo gets fired. Then you get Allegri coming in. Everyone thinks, we're back season, or we're going to win trophies, the best trophies again. We're going to compete for Europe. Obviously, it's not happened. Obviously, on paper, we did have the best team in Italy. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. We still had Ronaldo at the point out that time. Although we wanted to go out, we wanted to go to Man City, or he had ended up going to United. But Chiesa never gelled with the thought process of Allegri of sitting back, waiting, and then going to attack. So basically, a Catenaccio style counterattack. We didn't have the players to do that. We had the players to keep the ball and play it into the attacking third, with Chiesa playing off of a big target man. At the beginning of the season, Allegri's first season was Morata, but then we got Vlahovic in January, and we thought everything was going to change, and it changed for the worst, because we were playing games against mid-table teams or bottom-table teams, and they would have more possession than us. Like, we would play a Salernitana, they'd have 55% possession, and we were horrible. And you're like, how is this much talent? What's happening here? And then you see Di Maria came this year. Di Maria is complaining about what's going on off the field, or complaining about how we're playing on the field. You have Pogba, who's barely playing because he's injured all the time because of the voodoo witch doctor stuff. You got Chiesa, who was coming back from an injury, who wasn't even starting. He was like, they tried. He started, I believe, 7 games out of the 28 he played, or 32 this season. That's criminal for the best Italian talent Italy has. It was crazy, and there's no explanation for what Allegri's doing. He's pushing all the best talent out the door. And I'm going to say this about the Saudi Arabia stuff. I think that his entourage is pushing out that he's getting these offers just so it looks he wants to appease the fans, saying, no, I'm going to stay. I don't think any Juventus fan wants Allegri to stay at all. And I'm putting it out there. I think we're siding with the talented players over Max Allegri and a guy like Rabiot, a guy like Quadrado, and a guy like Bonucci, who are Allegri's boys. There's a big rift between the club right now and the best players.
Yeah, sounds like a bit of a mess at the moment.
No, it's not good.
Obviously, I know you've mentioned how important he is. He's, one of Italy's top talents.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like Allegri's possibly forcing him out, if reports are to be believed. Another report last week, I think, said that Liverpool were preparing a 35 million pound bid, which is around 40 million. Obviously, euros, not even what you bought him for.
No.
Is there a way that there was talks before he done his ACL that 100 million plus?
Yeah.
Is it really that serious? And could you see him going? I think that the valuation's around 60 million euros. Is that really like the drop off that the price is going to be if he was to be forced out?
Yeah, pre-ACL injury, you're talking one of the best wingers in the world. Like, not even a question about that. There was the GA there. There was the prestige of winning and doing well in Europe. There's no question about that. The drop off after the ACL and the rift between the management Juventus in itself cannot sell players for anything. We bought Matthias de Ligt for 85 million. He got better, and then we sold him for 65 million to Bayern Munich. Like, that's crazy. So as a club, we don't know how to sell in the first place. For Chiesa, the thing is, 60 million, the club is doing it. The club will sell. Himself, does Chiesa want to go to Liverpool right now in this? Like, because you guys are in Europa League, I believe you finished 5th. He wants to play Champions League, but I think if Liverpool offered the money to Juventus and the club accepted, I think you would go to Liverpool. A team like if a Chelsea came in, I think you would reject Chelsea right away, just because the prestige of Liverpool, and you're still not quite like you'll get back into the top 5 next year, because I think it's 5 places now for the Champions League. I think if he was to go to Liverpool this year, I think he would accept. There's not, and his agent came out today, funny enough, before we did this interview. His agent came out, Chiesa's agent, and he said it's a lie and it's made up that he's asking for 8 million euros a year upgrade in salary. And I think Liverpool has a certain wage structure that they follow. So I don't think that's going to be an issue at all either in terms of wage packet and all that stuff. I think if it was Newcastle, like he's already rejected Aston Villa, by the way, as well. Like, that's clear cut. I think if Newcastle came in, I think he would reject Newcastle as well. But if Liverpool came in, I think he'd accept Liverpool. Now, the drop off in valuation, 100 to 60, is strictly because the injury layoff and the GA is not there. Like, it's not as seen anymore because of who's coaching him.
Going a bit off onto that, Liverpool have probably got the best right winger in world football, Mohamed Salah. Obviously, it's hard to. Salah's getting older. Liverpool fans would say he's dropping off. The drop off isn't crazy. He's just not as good as he used to be. Obviously, he's not starting at the moment with Juventus under Allegri. Do you think he'd be happier to come and maybe sit on the bench for Liverpool, play as because at the moment at Liverpool, Salah doesn't have a backup. He plays every game, and when no one is, we don't have another right winger at the club, basically. Do you think potentially Chiesa might look at that and be like, okay, if I could stay here for a year or two, and then once Salah does leave, or once he drops off, the place is there for the taking. Do you think that's mainly what's appealing to Chiesa if he was to join Liverpool? I think
that's a good point. So starting the 7 out of 32 or whatever it was this season, he's rattled. Like, he's big time mad about that. He actually has no idea how he's not starting. And neither do any of us fans. We have no idea why. The thing is, when if he's going to move, he's going to want to play, because he's going to be 26 in October, I believe. I think his birthday's in October. So that when I was getting ready to come on to this interview, I was like, you guys got Diaz, you got Nunez, you got Jota, you got Salah, and you got you had another, I forget, someone else. You have another attacker. You have 5 attackers right now. Is he going to want to go into that situation in the Europa League, playing second fiddle to Mo Salah, Mo Salah's way, like, he's better, more established than Chiesa, no doubt about it. My thing is, I think personally Chiesa is better on the left when he plays. And it seems as you guys are assuming he's going to be a right winger. I would personally play him on the left, because you've seen, well, I don't know how much you've watched Juventus or Italy in the past, but he likes to come in on his right, especially against Spain in the Euro Cup. You've seen the goal. He came on in the right foot, likes to shoot, of course, the curling ball into the far corner. Against Porto, he did it, and whatnot. He is, and against England, he liked to carry the ball to the left and bring it to the right. The thing is, he's better on the left, but he could definitely play on the right as well. But I don't know how much of a bench player he wants to be at this stage in his career, just because he is going to be 26. And I don't know what Salah's deal is. Like, is he going to, you're saying he might drop off in a year? I don't think so. I think he's really good still. Like, I think he's going to score 20 goals again.
A big Italian move that happened recently, Tonali to Newcastle. It's not confirmed, but basically confirmed.
That's done.
I feel like in recent years, Italian players stay in the Serie A. not maybe scared, but it's similar with England. To be fair, you know,
Yeah.
the big players stay in league, feel at home.
Yeah.
Is there potential that, you know, that Chiesa's looking at Tonali, seeing all the hype around us, seeing, you know, it's exciting because we don't really get many Italian players in the Prem. Do you think that could be another aspect of potentially moving? And, you know, it's to another big club. Newcastle are a big club. You've got a massive fan base, and, you know, Liverpool and Newcastle very similar. So do you think that could potentially play a role if Liverpool were to do it? The Tonali move to Newcastle?
Oh, 100%. I'm going to be honest. The Tonali to Newcastle thing's quite funny to me as a Juventus fan, because there's no way he's rated 70 million. Like, in my eyes, he's not a 70 million rated player. But even before the Tonali move happened, that's bound to happen, Chiesa has been learning English for years now. Like, he actually takes classes. Like, he's one of those guys who likes to study and broaden his horizons, or whatever you want to call it. He knows English. He can speak it. He fits that game really well. I'm not certain he cares about the money. He's not really money oriented. It's just that I think if Liverpool were to offer or a Premier League team was to offer him lots of money, I think he'd go. I think he'd go. He's not like and he's not like Tonali, who's a Milanista, who's a fan favorite, or he loved Milan growing up. Chiesa didn't really love Juventus growing up. It was his favorite team, but like his dad, I don't know if whoever knows Federico Chiesa, but his dad is Enrico Chiesa, and he played all over Italy. So he didn't really have a set team growing up. Like Locatelli loves Juventus, like Barella loves Inter. So I can see Chiesa making the move, not solely because of what Tonali's doing, but just because of him himself. And he's seen it, and he's been in the professional atmosphere before. So the Premier League could allure to him.
Finally, just a final question. Do you think he's ready to make the step up to the Premier League? And also, do you think he could, you know, do you think Jurgen Klopp could improve him, you know, as a player? He's 26. He's probably just about to hit his prime if you go off recent years, 26 to 30. Do you think he's ready to the Premier League? And do you think Jurgen Klopp could make him a special player at Liverpool?
I'm not going to try and be a Serie A guy or anything, but I don't consider Juventus to Liverpool a step up. I think it's a good move for him if he wants to leave the shithole he's currently in, or the poop hole. I don't know if you want me to swear or not. But I don't think it's a step up. I think it's a good move for him if he wants to play with better players. Currently, I think, how do I want to phrase this? I think Klopp can make him play the style he wants to play. I don't know if there's improving with him, because he's very good at what he does. The only thing I think or that will help him improve is that he has a guy to link up with and get better in his link up play in the final third. If he gets that sorted, then I think it's just due to the better players around him. I don't think Klopp is going to coach him up to be this, or to the next step. I think he just needs I'm not trying to put down Vlahovic at all, but he needs something better than a stone wall to play with. He needs like, if you can play at the same time as Mo Salah, that'd be great. If you could play with Gakpo up top, and because Gakpo has a great touch, in my opinion, if you can play with a guy like that and work around him, that'd be great for him, because at Juventus he can't do that right now. So I think just playing with better players up top in general, with a more forward-thinking coach, would help him. Yeah.
Thank you, Julian, for joining us today and giving us his expert analysis. Make sure you go and check Julian's Twitter down below, and Bianconeri Zone for any of your Juventus news. For that being Charlie, this has been the LFC Transfer Room. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Peace out.